What's up, Yins? It's Dumpster on Wheels. I'm back for another video from my winter hiatus. So today I wanted to just kind of walk everybody through. This is a set of cross wheels that I got from Craigslist a while ago. They're tubulars, which is cool. They're not a bad wheel set. They have a Novatec D712SB rear hub. The only problem is that the wheel bearings are shot in it, so they have a good bit of wobble in them. The rear wheel does, at least. So I just wanted to kind of run you through. I'm going to throw some bearings in this, and in case anybody has a D712SB, I'll make this a little easier for you. All right, so I think what we need to do is unscrew this end cap right here. Drop it on the floor. Okay, we can set that there. Okay, so now that that end cap's off, we can see there's a 10 millimeter Allen insert here that we can use. So we got this for that. And then on this side, on the free hub side, there is a what looks to be a 5 millimeter. So we'll just put this in here and loosen this up, and we'll unthread the axle. So this cap has come out. Alright, so now that we've got these two caps off, you can actually see the one bearing right here on the non-drive side, and then we have our free hub. And on this particular model, this free hub, since we have the cap removed on both sides, this free hub will just pull right out. And there we can see our free hub body. And it looks like there is a spacer right here that is inside the free hub body. And then we can see another bearing in here. Okay, so I'm suspecting this axle shaft is tapered, meaning that it's going to go out one direction but not to come in another. Alright, so I'm going to start with this mallet and see if we can push this axle through. Alright, so we had to move to a steel hammer, but it's coming through without too much trouble. Okay, so you can see that this axle did indeed come out the non-drive side. You can see how it has this taper to it. And we've got this bearing out, this non-drive side, which was attached to the axle. And then we still have this one bearing in here. And I believe these are both the same. This is 6902 RS, I believe. And if we take a look at what we got, yeah, 6902 RS is what I ordered. There are two. I ordered three just to have an extra one. But there are just two in this. There are not two in the drive side and one in the non-drive side. There are two in the drive, two in the total hub. So we just got to remove this bearing here. And I think that you could probably use a blind bearing puller to get in here and pull it out, which would be the correct way. But since we're not reusing this bearing, I think the easiest thing to do is to just find something that will fit down in there, and we'll pound it out. Okay, so I've got a 17 millimeter deep well with an extension on it. This will fit in there nicely, and that'll give us enough room to pound it out. And you can see we got plenty of room here for it to come out. So we're okay to just set this on the workbench here, and we'll just tap this until it comes out. Just like that. And we can throw this in the garbage. And since we'll be replacing these, we'll need to start with this side. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do before I put this bearing in is I'm just going to kind of hit this with some brake parts cleaner and get this cleaned out. Alright, good. Now that I've got that cleaned out, I'll just open up one of these new bearings. And I'm just going to set a thin amount of grease on this just to help our bearing seat nicely. Okay, and then the next thing I'm looking for is just a bearing driver that's not going to drive on the seal of the bearing, the blue, or the inside, but the outside of the bearing. Okay, so I keep various sizes of spacers and such around for this purpose. I found this, what appears to be an old bearing that I had trouble getting out of something, so I actually ran a weld bead around it, and that's what that is on that side. But you can see that this will be perfect. It's just smaller than this, but not so small that we're going to push on the seal. So no problems with setting this down on this end. And I'm going to put my bearing in, and I just want to make sure that it's obviously seated evenly. I'm not binding up in here. Okay, just an update. I'm not thrilled with what that spacer was doing, so I found another piece. Okay, so we've got one bearing successfully installed. Alright, so we're ready to install our axle again, and then our bearing. Now, one thing is, looks like we're going to need to find something to set this on so that we have pressure on the hub here. But that's all. So let me dig up something. Alright, so as an update, I found a piece of DOM tubing. And I'm just going to mount this in the vise here. And then this is perfect because this will just slide right on here like that. So this is going to be perfect for putting this bearing in. Alright, so I just cleaned this out real quick, and again I'm just going to give this a little thin coat of grease. It is quite cold out here today, and I don't want to blast you out with the heat because we won't be able to hear anything. So we'll hold off on that for now. Okay, so just going to take my axle, put that through like that, and then we'll put this on here. Now we've got a nice steady surface. Grab a new bearing. These are just some bearings that I found off of Amazon, I believe. Nothing special. Because as you can see, they're pretty easy to replace actually. And I'm just going to go ahead and get this started. And I'm going to use my same spacer. And this one's probably just going to drop right in, hopefully. Just want to do it nice and even. Alright, so this spacer has expired itself. It's just a tad too big. Just a tad too big to make it in there. So we're gonna size back down again. Okay, so we've got our bearing in here. And at this point, this feels nice and smooth. So now we can reassemble. And I did probably have a little bit of regular grease in here, so we're just going to clean this out because we don't really want that in our free hub body. We use a much lighter grease. Alright, for the purposes of this, we'll just use a little bit of this DT Swiss special grease, since we've got some of this here that we'll never use. And I'm not going to go crazy with this, but just going to spread a tiny bit of this around. Alright, so we've got our seal on here. We've got the spacer here. Which I could slide that in here just for this purpose. And then when we put this free hub buddy back on, these pawls can be a pain, you know, that they don't want to push down in there. I can just kind of use my thumb and roll it backwards and push the pawls down until you just want to not force it. You don't need to force it whatsoever. It should just fall right in there, just like so. And at this point, we can go ahead and put our oops, wrong one. We can go ahead and put our end caps back on. And I'm just going to use 2 5mm inside each spacer, and we'll just tighten these down. And I'm not going to make them super tight, just hand tight. So I want to be able to get them off of them probably. And that's it. So we've got a wheel with fresh wheel bearings. D712SB, fresh wheel bearings. Alright, so that's going to be a wrap today for the Novatec hub replacement. Hopefully this helps somebody out. Just a pretty easy job, but if you don't know which way to take it apart, that could be the hardest thing. So hopefully that helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, you were interested in bike tech tips, how-tos, reviews, be sure to let me know, and I'll try to do more. And I may even, as you can see, it's not a very nice day out, so I may even head down and do some Zwifting. So maybe some more videos on that type of stuff too, just general riding. So catch you in the next one. Thanks.